Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Saraswati Purbaya. You can call me Teacher Saras. Now, we will study about science for primary 5 with the topic the life cycle of flowering plants. Before I will start our program, we will say Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What are the plants? Plants is the living things that can make own food. All of the living things can make own food. We can call it plants. In the plants, we divide into two groups. The first group is flowering plants. The second group is non-flowering plants. If the flowering plants can bear or produce a flower, and the non-flowering plants, it cannot bear flower. For the example, the sunflower can bear flower, so the sunflower can become or join to flowering plants. The second is fern. Fern doesn't have flower, so the fern join to non-flowering plants. The third is herbs. Herbs have stem and have the flower, so the herbs will join to flowering plants. Okay, the next is what their characteristic. The characteristic is similar like the criteria. So all of the living things have the special criteria. For the plants, have the special characteristic is have the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green pigment that only plants have. The second is due reproduction. The reproduction is the characteristic, the basic of the living things. Yeah, all of the living things have this criteria. The third is autotroph. Autotroph, it means can make their own food. From this slide, we can learn the scientific word. The word is characteristic species. Characteristic species is the special character in the species. Habitat. Habitat is the live for plant. Habitat is the place for the living thing live. For example, in the ocean, there are dolphins, and dolphins live in the ocean, so the dolphin habitat is in the ocean. So, plants in everywhere. We can find the plants in the desert, we can find plants in the river, we can find the plants in the field. And this scientific word, there are habitat, condition, and adaptation. For the condition, it's mean, for example, like cacti. Cacti live in the desert. With the condition, it's too hot, so the cacti have to survive in the hot condition. So cacti have to adaptation. What the adaptation of cacti? Cacti have to modify the leaf into the spike, so the cacti can survive in the desert. Part of plant. Maybe in the 4th grade or 3rd grade you already study part of plant. This is the basic for part of plant. The first is the roots, leaf, fruit, flowers, and the stem. For this moment, I will more study about part of flower. Part of flower. The first part is stigma, style, ovary, and the ovule. From stigma, style, ovary, and ovule, it's the female reproduction, or we can call the carpel. For the male reproduction is the anther and the filament. In the anther and filament is we can call the stamen. Okay, for the next is petal and then sepal. For stigma function to reside when there are pollen grains into the stigma, and the stigma continue to the style until into the ovule. For the anther function to produce pollen grains, and the filament is stalled to hold up the stamen. The petal function for get insect, so the insect can help to the pollination. And the sepal function to protect when the flower in the bud. So in this slide, we learn the new scientific word is the pollen, stamen, carpel, and sepal. Next slide is reproduction in plants. Reproduction in plants is mean when the male and the female in the same species combine, or we can call it the fertilization process. Or for example, like the plants, the anther produce the pollen grains, and the enter to the stigma, and then pollen grain into the ovule will become fertilization, and then that fertilization will bear the seed. For this slide, we learn the reproductive and fertilization word. Okay. After the fertilization, the ovule will grow up and develop into the seed, and then the seed will become a shoot, and then the shoot grow longer, and then that shoot will become the young plant. I think enough for me explanation about the life cycle of flowering plants. If you have any question, please leave in the comment, and don't forget to like and share. Let's close our program by reciting Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.